kidnapping handed down 6-year jail sentence.
Parliament resumes sitting with LGBTQI+ bill high on the agenda.
Roads and Highways Ministry to crack the whip on persons siphoning revenue at country's toll booths and Axle roadway stations.
And also industrial action by Health Service Workers Union underway across the country.
And Mali expels ECOWAS regional bloc's representative in the country. Hello, you welcome to News Hour live on GVC News, your news and governance channel. We are also live on GTV and streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Micheline Taka.
And mine is Clara Milano. News headlines sponsored by Manchi Biscuits. Munch into happiness. Robert Paul Manso will interpret the news into sign language.
President Akufo-Addo on Tuesday evening swore in the reconstituted Ghana Police Service Council. President Akufo-Addo charged the new team to support the service to come out with promising strategies and effective directions for the benefit of Ghanaians while promoting professionalism in the country's police service.
And when he swore in the Ghana Armed Forces Council at the Jubilee House, the President Nana Akufo-Addo said there are increasing threats of jihadist attacks in the Sahel and the army must counter any threats to the country. He called on the troops to step up the protection of Ghana's frontiers.
Still at the Jubilee House, Accra and Tokyo are working towards scaling up their trade and investment. In furtherance of this, Japan External Trade Organization, JETRO, will open its office in Accra on November 5, 2021.
This came up when Japan's ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Chutumu Himeno, called on President Akufo-Addo to bid him farewell at the Jubilee House in Accra at the end of his tenure.
Ambassador Chutomo Himeno has completed his 4-year duty tour in Ghana. While here, Japan supported Ghana with a grant of $95 million to help with the development of the Tema motorway and the N8 Trunk Road project. Recounting his achievements, the departing Japanese envoy mentioned the assembling of Toyota vehicles in Ghana and Sen Power's investment in the energy sector.
I am leaving with a very mixed feeling of satisfaction for many things that have been done, but many things I wish I could have done more. One of the areas of new emphasis, in addition to a traditional development cooperation, which remains important, is a private sector engagement. One notable accomplishment, if I may say so, is the arrival of JETRO office in Ghana, Japan External Trade Organization.
President Akufo-Addo lauded the Japanese government for its support to Ghana.
Japan has been a very strong friend of Ghana and has done many things. The motorway, there's several investments that have been made, both public and private, Japanese entities that have been of big benefit to our country. You can be sure that the Japanese companies here that are doing business, Sen Power, Sumitomo, Toyota, are all going to be very well cared for. You can leave here with that assurance that we will continue to make it possible for them to do business in as conducive an atmosphere as possible.
Also at the Jubilee House was Algeria's outgoing ambassador, Mr. Lakal Benkeli, after his 7-year duty tour. He described the relationship between Accra and Algiers as very strong, and this was evident when Algeria threw her weight behind Ghana for the UN Security Council non-permanent seat. President Akufo-Addo called for Algeria's support in solving the crisis in Mali since the two countries share a border.
The implementation of the Algiers Accord remains one of the main pillars of ECOWAS policy in Mali. And we need the support of Algeria to make sure that happens. We are neighbors of Mali and have a vested interest also in the stability and the peace of the country and the defeat of the jihadist insurgency in Mali. So it's an area where the cooperation between us should be very strong. I'm looking forward to working together with the government, the new government in Algeria, to make sure these things happen.
The family of the late Mrs. Eudora Quartey-Granting, Ghana's ambassador to Italy, called on the president to officially inform him of her passing. President Akufo-Addo said he was devastated to hear of her death after meeting her in Belgrade, Serbia, during the Non-Aligned Movement 60th Anniversary Conference a couple of weeks ago. He pledged that the government will support the family with a befitting burial. Mrs. Eudora Quartey-Granting died on October 20, 2021 in Rome.
The President Akufo-Addo says the issue on the election of Metropolitan Municipal and District Chief Executives (MMDCEs) that was suspended in 2020 will be brought back into the national discourse. Addressing the newly appointed MMDCEs in Accra, President Akufo-Addo said he is convinced that this is the best way to deepen citizen participation in development at the local level. The series of actions to repeal Article 55, subsection 3 will start soon to enable the process to start again.
So far, 250 of the President's newly appointed Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives (MMDCEs) have been endorsed by their respective assemblies. They are now in training and orientation to perform at their optimum. The next 4 days will equip them with the knowledge, skills and attitudes for effective leadership. The chair of the Council of State, Nana Otuo-Serbo, urged the appointees to cooperate with the chiefs at the local level for development.
As you begin this new journey or you go through them a second time, will be first and foremost to avoid needless confrontations with traditional authorities, MPs, opinion leaders, and your assembly members. You will dissipate a lot of energies in reorganizing yourself when you indulge in such confrontations.
The Minister for Local Government, Rural Development and Decentralization, Mr. Dan Botwe, said the conference will equip the appointees for effective governance and administration at the local level.
The conference today will seek to equip the MMDCs with requisite knowledge, skills, competencies, and attitudes for effective local leadership. Orient new MMDCs on their roles, responsibilities, and introduce them to government flagship programs. Provide common platform for experience sharing and energize MMDCs for improved performance.
The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, tasked the new team to work with the relevant stakeholders to avoid unnecessary conflicts and forge ahead for development.
I'm expecting that you will be part of the team that finally brings decentralization to fruition. This should mean that the district assemblies build their capacities and are able to handle the responsibilities that have been devolved on them by law. Chief executives, it continues to be a good time to be in charge of districts, municipal, and metropolitan areas. You have the opportunity to transform the local economy and preside over the creation of jobs for our people. The local area is the target for all the programs we set forth in 2017, programs we continue to implement for the growth and transformation of the Ghanaian economy.
On the elections of MMDCEs, President Akufo-Addo said the decision has not been abandoned.
I belong to the group that has always advocated for the direct popular election of chief executives on a party political basis. I do not believe there's anything to fear in the direct election of chief executives. My government and I will continue to work for a broad national consensus on this issue. And should such a consensus be attained for the repeal of Article 55, Clause 3 of the Constitution, and an agreement reached for political parties to participate in and sponsor candidates for election to metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, at any point during my tenure of office as President of the Republic, the matter will be brought back again to the front burner of our public discourse for the necessary action.
President Akufo-Addo said any chief executive who fails to perform would.
29-year-old Joanna Kra, who faked a kidnapping incident last week in Takoradi in the Western region, has been jailed for 6 years. She faked her abduction last week and confessed to the police that she did that in a bid to extort 5,000 Ghana cedis from a relative. She reported herself to the police after realizing that the incident of her purported kidnapping had been reported to the police. She was charged with deceiving a public officer and publication of fake news. The police told the court that Joanna Kra conspired with 2 others, Susan Awotri and Francis Eshen, to feign her kidnapping on Friday, October 22, 2021, after which a call was placed to her adoptive father in demand for the ransom. When Joanna became aware that her adoptive father had reported to the police and an extensive search had commenced to find her, she showed up at the Takoradi Central Police Station on Saturday, October 23, to confess that she was only joking with her adoptive father, that she had been kidnapped. Further police investigations led to the arrest of suspects Susan Awotri and Francis Shen for their complicity.
You're watching News Hour live on GBC at Governance Channel. The Supreme Court has, in a 4-3 majority decision, rescinded its earlier decision to remove Justice Clemens Honyenuga, who is sitting as an additional High Court judge on the case of former Chief Executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Stephen Oponi, who is accused of causing over 217 million Ghana cedis financial loss to the state. The decision of the court was after an application for review filed by the Attorney General, Mr. Godfred Yeboadame, who challenged an earlier decision of the court to take the judge of the case on grounds of bias. In today, at the commencement of the 3rd meeting of the 4th session of the Parliament, the Speaker, Mr. Alan Bagbin, outlined some bills and papers to be laid and considered. 3 bills at the committee level include the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill, the Office of the Special Prosecutor Amendment Bill, and the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2021. He said proceedings of the anti-LGBTQ+ bill will be made public. A total of 56 bills are also expected to be presented before the House. These include the Affirmative Action Bill, Interstate Succession Bill, the Rent Bill, Aged Persons Bill, and Small Scale Mining Bill. The Standing Orders of Parliament of Ghana, the Revenue Administration Regulations, the Copyright Regulations, and the National Information Technology Agency Regulations, among others, are instruments for presentation and consideration.
At the Northern Regional Headquarters of the Ghana National Fire Service in Tamale, thousands of young men and women who have applied to be enlisted into the service gathered in their numbers for screening.
Thousands of young men and women who are gathered here to take part in the screening process, which began yesterday. I am told that about 1,000 people were screened yesterday, and in all they are expecting about 5,000 people to be screened by Friday, and the lucky ones who will go through successfully the screening process will have to write an examination on Saturday as part of the third phase of this recruitment process. It has been quite frustrating for some of the recruits who are gathered here this morning. Some, I'm told, came as early as 12 a.m. And even those who came here yesterday, not all of them were able to go through the screening process. As you can see from a far distance, the number of persons who are gathered here, all trying to get the attention of officers and to be recruited. How hopeful are you that you will successfully go through this?
Yeah, we tell them people are too much, but we are praying that God will just help us so that we'll pass through the thing successfully. But the people, we are too much. We are even tired.
The place is so stressful, and the story has been the same since yesterday. We came here, we were able to fight and got our documents through, and up to now we've still not heard anything about it. We are still going through, waiting on their processes to see what they will come to tell us. And it is obvious that those who were supposed to attend the interview today or the screening today has not even been attended to.
As a region, this is the only center where they are recruiting persons for the National Fire Service. We spoke with the regional commander a while ago, and he expressed the hope that everybody who has gone through the computer application will have the opportunity to be screened. We are hoping that by Friday they would have gone through with about 5,000 persons.
Our target was to screen 1,000, but because of the challenge we bombed them, we have to move them, go back and restart and reorganize them. We couldn't meet the target yesterday. It's just an issue of impatience on the part of the applicants. You know, this is the second stage of the recruitment exercise. The first stage was the online registration, which applicants indicated who they are by filling some questionnaire on the net. And so the second stage is for us to see them, who they actually are. We'll screen their documents, want to see the authenticity of the documents, and then the various qualifications that they indicated.
At Cape Coast in the Central Region, about 22,000 people who applied to be enlisted into the Ghana Fire Service Immigration and the Prison Service converged on the officers to be taken through the screening process.
The expected candidates for the Ghana Fire Service is around 8,940, whilst the expected candidate for the Immigration Service is around 8,000. So, the least one is the Prison Service, which has around 3,400. So the queues were long, as reported yesterday. That was the day one, because in the case, when they are about to go for this recruitment exercise, the first day, you see people massing up. Some of them that I spoke to are coming all the way from Ashanti region. Some of them are coming from Tema and other regions to come to Central Region for this recruitment process. So the mornings are very massive, where people are queuing to make sure that they get early chance to go through the process. But today, as at the time I visited, the crowd has virtually gone down as at 1:30 p.m. According to officers, they were able to screen them, and now they've cleared off a whole backlog for today.
Graduates in agriculture on Tuesday left Ghana for Israel to take part in the greenhouse farm concept. This brings to 98 the total number of students who have benefited from the program. The initiative is to equip the students with the needed skills to improve on Ghana's agriculture sector.
House Farm Concept is a collaboration between the government of Ghana and the Israeli government. 200 graduates are expected to benefit from the program. The first batch of 85 students left Ghana for the project a few months ago. The third batch, which is made up of 13 graduates, were escorted to the airport on Tuesday. In the coming days, 102 graduates will also travel to Israel to join their counterparts on the Greenhouse Farm program. According to the project coordinator, Mr. Prince Kwame Boachi, selected students from Ghana have been assured a successful paid internship.
They work and study in agricultural farms. They gain practical knowledge and skills so that they can come back to Ghana and apply.
A beneficiary, Mr. Abraham Asibe, spoke about expectations for the program.
We are going there to understudy their technological issues, and then we'll be able to come back to Ghana, implement them here.
A representative from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture who escorted the team to the airport advised the group to stay focused so that the targeted aim of the project will be achieved.
There's still a debate on whether there are adverse effects from living close to high-tension lines. Research shows, however, that there is some risk present. It is not uncommon in Ghana to see some people living under high-tension cables. GBC News brings you this report from North Jowli in Accra, with some residents of the neighborhood exposing themselves to the possible effect associated with electromagnetic fields. Surprisingly, some of these squatters say they have nowhere to call home and therefore will simply stay put. Jasmine Ejay, who brings us this story, is our citizen journalist for today.
Debate is not concluded. Numerous studies have investigated electromagnetic fields exposure and health. Although earlier studies did suggest associations between exposure and a variety of health effects including brain cancer, breast cancer, cardiovascular disease, and reproductive and developmental disorders. Most of these associations have not been substantiated by more recent research. One notable exception to this is the association with childhood leukemia, which the International Agency for Research or Cancer regards as sufficiently well established to rate extremely low-frequency magnetic fields as a possible human carcinogen. The operating voltage of high-tension cables is up to 11,000 volts between conductors and 600 volts between conductors and the ground. Living right under high-tension cable is prohibited. The cables emit radiation even if very low-frequency magnetic fields. Many passers-by are concerned about the lives of these people at North Jowli who are squatting in kiosks and the risk of such dangers. While they are aware of the dangers, they say they have no alternative. They say it is poverty that has pushed them here. Some of them are tenants in the kiosk. They rent from landlords. Some, however, own the kiosks. Having nowhere else to go, they are living under the cables in spite of the dangers. From time to time, the city authorities come and destroy these temporary structures, but the squatters don't give up. They say a luta continua and man must live.
A 12-year-old boy has drowned in an abandoned mining pit at Achim Akoko in the eastern region. According to the assembly member for Akoko, Enyabna Tiger Electoral Area, Mr. Emmanuel Ansapia, the boy, in the company of other children, went to swim in the abandoned pit. They ignored a caution by some passersby to stay away from the pit. The said boy drowned in the process. The owner of the concession had left the site for some weeks now to have his excavator repaired. A search party from the town was able to retrieve the body, which has been deposited at the morgue awaiting police investigation. The abandoned pit is situated close to two schools, the Akoko MAJHS and the Messiah Primary School. Both schools have temporarily been shut as local authorities have appealed for some security in the area to ensure the safety of students.
It's
You're watching news. Hours still to come. Business, sports, energy, health.